Okay, in theory, we done the stream. Bear with me. It's actually working. Underway shortly. All looks good. Twitter. Get underway. Hopefully my microphone's alright. In order to get this whole physical space set up, I had to use my laptop, so hopefully it's baby size CPU can keep up. Or is it CPU or GPU used for streaming? Beats me, but hopefully whatever you're looking at right now is smooth and crisp. Doesn't sound terrible. Yeah, okay, looks good. In theory, I should be able to see chat over here. Streamlabs. Otherwise, maybe on the Restream chat website. I'll wait and see if anybody wants to talk to me first. If that happens, I'll check to see if it works. I really want to minimize the amount of tabs and windows I have open. I can already hear the fan buzzing away. Maybe you can too. But get underway. It really is a creepy webcam when I'm staring at my laptop. Try not to make that face again. But we do have a face cam and a hand cam, and our annoying microphone cable is back. Back from the YouTube tutorials. Annoying microphone cable. Back for another guest appearance. But best we can do. I actually want to buy a phone, so that's on the drawing board. So anyway, we have here the, actually going to twist it around, bear with me. We have here a badly lit scene with a piece of paper on it, and on the paper is the draft we prepared yesterday of the layout of our Sinkhole battle map. And we're going to take our trusty brush pen and put some line art on it. That's the plan. Welcome 3 viewers. Good to know I'm not alone here. I see Streamlabs is a little slow, maybe only listening to one channel. Anyway, I should start moving this pen around so that I'm not just listening to the camera on. I've actually not sat down to look at this and figure out where I'm going to start. So I think we're going to just start with the edge of the platform. Go from there. Prime on. So we got some big old steps. Keep them about that size. I want this to be like a grand sized kind of walkway. One thing I do need to fix, gate. Not quite all this. So I'm going to start with the natural shapes because I haven't warmed up much today. And natural shapes, if you make an oddly shaped line, it just looks all the more natural. This route here seems like a good enough place. I'm just ever so... My attention is like chewed up by keeping this paper well centered stream. I'll figure all this out. Perhaps I should have glued this paper to the table first. Please excuse like elbow cam and pen. I could probably do this better next time, but this is stream number 1 with the hand cam, so it's not bad. I think we're going to go with a bit of a twisty element for this. So it's not just going to be a barb poking out here, but we'll put a bit of a hook in. Where do I want that hook to go? Probably the other way. Maybe 2. I want this to be a shape and size. So barb's going to come out, go back the other way. Like that. Some little bits of fur and minor roots on there. Kind of looks like barbs. I guess that's a bad thing. Creep over here. Big vicious twist. We want it to have a decent size to it, so I guess that's placed across here. And I'll just throw some extra little minor roots in there. I want to keep a good pace on this stream. Very short on time this month. Today, especially. I originally planned to have this stream during the daytime so that we could have some nice natural light filtering in. Unfortunately, all you have is this hospital light shining down, painting everything in a harsh white light. This here is a clump of grass that's slid down. Then we want a bit of texture on this root. I see we have a handful of viewers. If you all have any questions or suggestions, please let me know, or just general dialogue. Helps if I'm a little bit distracted, tends to help the lines flow naturally. Just that perfect amount of distraction. I like our roots. Bit of extra fluff. And this here we decided was like a major clump of turf that had slid down. So in our planning stage, I basically just planned out the shapes that I liked, and now that I'm doing detailed lines, following those shapes. And when I import this all into my computer, because our planning stage is in blue, I can just remove it. Throw some rocks and stuff here. Bit of form. Bit not overkill. I don't want to fill the whole thing up with grassy texture, otherwise it begins to confuse with the grid that will eventually be overlaid on top. And down here, what I want, actually, this edge has to be more defined, because there is a clear elevation difference. There needs to be a clear elevation difference between this platform and the beneath it, which is just strictly scenery, not intended to be jumped upon like it does. Excuse my English today. So this brush pen I have noticed has fine end and like a thick end. This is handy. Like one end for big bold lines like this. I can use the other end for adding detail. Often I'll just work with the fine end first, and then I'll come back, throw detail afterwards. That's pretty good. We got a nice bold outline to it. Pretty small on your Twitch viewport, isn't it? Could zoom in, but then I run the risk of all the setup that took me half an hour to do. So hopefully the 1080p UHD is sufficient. At least you can see kind of where we're going with the whole thing. Hey Janina, thanks for saying so. Not get too caught up on these branches. Okay, from here, this whole mudslide that I intend to be down into this darkness here. Most of the detail is going to be in the color layer, so really I'm just with a very fine edge blocking a handful of lines, pretty much just blocking in areas of shadow or texture there. Everything up here will probably be very bold, since the closer the camera we get, the more detail they'll. Well, next, I want to come here, the collapsed platform. That's partially on our actual platform, Froghead, like the Froghead styled platform. This is my first Twitch stream with a hand cam. I've done YouTube tutorials before where I could cut out stammering like that, but my first stream. Done a few Twitch streams with digital art, but this is a whole bunch of spinning plates. If I seem a bit. Get the edge here. Accidentally pulling off the correct amount of lids. Have the rounded portion of the frog head platform here, and the flap. I want like a healthy variation in the line width too. So it's dual purpose line width system I have. It's gonna the border between important layers, information layers. B, it's just gonna everything look more. But yeah, so the tiles I decided on. We're gonna go with a flagstone. Like we're gonna have shapes like a mosaic of tiles, but in the general body of the tiles, I think we're gonna have a mishmash kind of flagstone look. Really like these shapes. Where the platform's disintegrating, falling away. Oh, a border like that there. Steps shall be pretty bold. Oh, a bold pen for that. Trying to keep my head out of frame. If I lean over too much, like my head pop in. Brush pens give very interesting break the stairway up a bit. certain places will have sloping area. Oh, teeny tiny. Here, I guess there's a little step back up onto the platform. This brush pin's running out on me. How embarrassing. Here will be a muddy wall, so we break up the straight line here. Not just stones, but break it up with dots. Cool. Our scattering overboard, but hinting at a texture repeating dots. Now I'm going to move this whole gate up the teeniest bit here. In fact, we have to decide on a gate style, so this is something I didn't do before. So in my blue pencil, think about what we want up here, follow the frog style. Also define my new lines there so that I can center the gate. Add a little bit of perspective there. Suppose like a circular door wouldn't, yeah, one of those ones that roll out the way. Just since we've got a lot of circles in the zone, our frog is a very circular kind of creature. Much more than a square creature. Go with the circle. That its angle quite hard to circular door. A door just with a curve top. A semicircular door, and it will roll away, but that bottom half will be hidden here. Yes. About that. I'm also gung ho with my lines because I know I can't fix any terrible mistakes I make in Photoshop. So notice me just kind of dive in. And in fact, I try and dive in more, otherwise I spend far too much time stressed over putting pen to paper. Go for a general semicircle here. Slightly at first. A bit more bold. A little bit of shape variation there. We'll have circle side. Shapes I always seem to stuff up. And then over the top of our semicircle, second semicircle, 3 in total. Kind of the door frame. Okay. So if we were smarter about this, shorten our circle off over like to play it fast and loose. Just let's have a little divot out for add a few divots in for kind of quick train. Top, and it should have like a keystone at the top for it to make sense. Birds, that be too much. Okay, I like our rolling gate here. After here, divot, then have a pillar, perhaps just a pillar on one side, on the other side lost beneath the mudslide. Pillar should be on the outside of that ring. Up and outward, kind of suggesting that we know what we're doing with our perspective. And disappear beneath some moss and vines and stuff. This would be a very interesting video to replay at like 10 times speed. Working at this shape here. Have a little kind of talking to myself in a way that will listeners that habit. Good opportunity to fill up the space with vines. Good, let's have a root coming down this. Roots will just be a mess of spirals, spiraling. A bit of texture on the root. All this shadowed area, cross hatchway, darkness. Root was pretty small and affords put a bigger root. Have a humongous root down from off the canvas. A big dramatic twist over here. It's fantasy trees, so the roots naturally end in a big magical spiral. Just add them and all the design looks right. Right, in fact we can pretty much use spirals to fill in these shadows rather than cross-hatching. Suggest like a whole mess of roots, like that. Then in the color, when we add color to this, actually shadowed. Okay, our get's looking pretty cool. For elevation, testing a slope here, impassable surface. Up here, these will be, I was originally going to go with thorn bushes, but we're going to convert them into treetops. Our map will pretty much terminate, bordered by canopy. Very bold color, since it's kind of close to camera. Layer them up a bit. Just at a big old layered canopy. You don't have to get too messy with all of rocks and stuff. Fun drawing it. So, be careful not to make this a square edge, a hard corner. Bust further on this side. Thanks ATL4S. Glad you like it so far. I feel like we're off to a pretty good start. Just have to keep up this momentum. Not get careless. Hopefully the finished product will be of the same quality. Break in the tree. Yeah. Being kind of wary not to smudge my ink. So combination of this brush pen and this paper, it pretty much soaks in immediately. We put in our thick lines. I do want to mix in a smattering of thin lines, just so it's not too uniform. This little stream preview is pretty good at seeing a kind of thumbnail map. Strikes me as this root much a bit thicker. In fact, our main other roots we'll use a thick branch for. Kind of suggested other roots that not necessarily figure out where they head to. They just kind of come in and out of the tree. And we don't also want to. We also don't want to fill the entire area in with detail. We want to balance areas of just low detail and areas of high detail. So it's not too stressing to look at. Not a huge Where's Wally of root. So these areas, we can still make them interesting with our color. But we've done a decent job up here. Detail, having big clumps of detail like this also serves well to attract the eyes. So we're going to have an area like this of just a whole bunch of detail. You want to do it at the center point. Not the center point as in the middle, but the important area of your map. Like the goal. So in this map, our players want to get there. So it's the natural area to have kind of the focus of the eye. I hope I'm making sense this time. I don't really feel like I'm. Have a smattering of roots on the platform itself. We're also trying with our line distinctly separate areas that the players can traverse, areas where they can't. That's why I have this big bold outline, which I'm adding to now, around the platform routes, which I intend to be traversable. Whereas this little platform down below, a thin line, because it's not where the players. They're welcome to try it, but it's not the focus of what I mean. Okay, let's do some more grassy platform. Sinkhole. The edge is constantly eroding away, so we've got the grassy edges are sliding down clumps. Here, poking out of the cliffside, have a mess of roots players can jump from between. If I was smarter, I would have started on this side. I didn't risk smudging things. Fiddling a little bit with my fur. Okay. Need big boy brush. Bold grassy. By transitionary grassy edge. Not a perfect platform, it's sloping away. Here will rock mudslide. Rocks are never alone, there's usually a rock next to them. And then have like the shapes we've got going. These ones. Say this one having more shape. Like that. For your daring acrobatic characters to jump between. They can try their luck on each side with different obstacles. Spent the last week more working with digital art where I can just erase any mistakes I make. So it's quite intimidating working with ink again. Or any line I put on the page, stuck with, except in case where I jump into Photoshop. But I don't want to spend 2 hours in Photoshop. I want to get it right the first time. I have these little fluffy bits because I was potting some succulent plants today. They were kind of rooting. They had little roots poking out of the stem. Kind of what I'm adding to. Yeah, right. That roots. Nice, right? Perhaps we'll come back and add some more bold edges. Oh, it does the trick. What we have to refrain from doing is putting too much detail below them, which will just lose the edge. We have to be very sparing with the detail we put below kind of the action zone with our grassy platforms, froggy flavored platforms. Speaking of frog flavored platforms, let's get back to our frog flavored platform. Start here. These brick lines, seen my tutorial on how to draw dungeon walls. Basically the method I'm using here, where I'm following planned line, but I'm adding little divots and switches, being imprecise with it. And then the next step after that is connecting them in areas that make sense. And so doing will make a varied kind of haphazard line of paving. Like that. Because in my mind, whoever built this place wasn't very precise with their masonry. My own. I think we've gone a little overboard with the mess, but we'll work with it. A couple of flagstones here. Now I think I'm going to split this one into two, one thin one and one wider one. That and the basically follow that line going in. Could have done better with my draft line here. Made my job easier, but we'll work with what we got. Hey, Pyronide. This isn't A4 paper, this is A3 paper, in fact. And I'm going to upscale it with my printer to A2 size. So all of these big bold lines will get even bigger and bolder, the eventual version. Kind of some stairs leading up. Yeah, the flagstones kind of evoke the same look as dinosaurs. Kind of works for the frog theme. Work with that. If I would do this again, like I'd choose like a scaly kind of brickwork pattern. Pretty happy with what we got here. Maybe this edge, maybe we can turn the edge of the platform into the scale pattern. Let's see about that. Not even sure if I'll like it, but go for it. Hey, Sovael, thanks for saying so. I am terrible at coloring physically, so 100% of the time I'll paint it in like Photoshop or etc. etc. When I very first started out, I tried watercolor painting these maps, but turns out I'm not a natural. Whereas I already have skills in digital arts, so I figured use those. But like in my free time, I do like experimenting. Sure, I haven't really leaned back and what I think of these styles. Looks pretty cool. Pretty okay. So keep it for this too. Something different because a lot of my maps just use flagstone like this. So then I make a conscious effort to vary up my stonework. This is something new. I like it. It's a bit more organic. What we're going for with the frog themed temple. I imagine his eyes as some kind of pedestal, just a circular one, or maybe like lily pad style. Yeah, putting ink to paper still stresses me. So I'm trying not to think about it too much, and I guess engaging with it helps. And then I'm also comforted by knowing that if I really need to change something, I can do it with Photoshop later. I do usually change quite a bit. Let's break some of these tiles, cracks and stuff. A little bit too pristine. And yeah, Pyronide, I always upscale my maps. Whatever kind of the original size is, the eventual print size will be a 1-inch grid on it. I always start out with that in mind. A3 is like my current standard. what we need here, gotta define the edge between the wall and the floor. Pick a line like. We'll do a little bit more work on that. Oh no, please keep the questions coming. Happy to talk rather than just stress about my line work. Quite like this mess of lines we have going for the landslide. It isn't strictly like a landslide texture, but it's the kind of level of detail that I usually try and shoot for, where there's still a lot of work left for the imagination to do. I think I may just copied this pretty precisely, but got some work to do to get there. So a little bit longer with this side. Then I'm going to twist this whole thing around and do the other side too. Got our little islands of grass falling down. I think this here will be a bigger island of grass. Yeah. A good test to see if the effects of like the little element of distraction that it is helps or harms the maps. Sometimes when I'm just quiet myself, I'll fall into a flow and I can just go and go and go. But if there's something making me look up, like Twitch chat, then that flow, that kind of train of thought interrupted, which may or may not be a bad thing. We will see. There's plenty of mindless work that I could still stream. Definitely not mindless. This is stressful. This is ink on paper. There's nothing more stressful. Okay. We'll return to this side of the map. I'm going to twist the whole thing around. Yes, OVL, I would like to do extraplanar maps. An idea that I've had on my list for a long time and I haven't quite got to it. Line this with the Twitch window. This altar here, I didn't print the grid on my draft layer, so I couldn't tell you precisely, but I know that this door, Ironide, is 10 foot wide. So that's 10 foot wide, then about 20 foot long ways and 15 foot short ways. 15 by 20 foot, this frog head platform. Where's my microphone? Okay, it's fine. Thinking of the altars, the little areas to place the MacGuffins in order to open the door, which I failed to mention on stream. So the idea of this battle map is your players enter on this side, and then they are presented with two routes. They can go this way around, but in order to actually open the door, they have to collect a MacGuffin from here and a MacGuffin from here, place in the eyeball pedestals. That will A, open the door, and B, extend the tongue to make like an easy crossing. Or I don't know, maybe they have an NPC with them or something. Or just like an easy exit. This is It's my natural work process is I'll try and start on something fresh, but then I see, well, instead I could just tweak this over here. Tweaking is less commitment, takes far less commitment actually blocking in. And I was playing with the idea of having an insect here. It wasn't my idea, in fact, it was somebody from today's stream. I don't want to take all the credit. But having like an insect here, hint that that tongue extends out. Wondering what kind of insect can we put here that won't take a bunch of floor space. Unless it is strictly of. Let me see about that. Got a fly, so we can use this head area. We can set him up until it's tiled. Tiles. Does that even look like an insect? Sorry, you all probably can't see it. I'm working right now. It's smaller, like some kind of insect. With that. Sure, we'll give it a shot. Okay. All right. Staircase. Or this one's a lot more crumbly. Like my intentions were to make this the kind of official roadway. As you can see, we started here. So we have a natural pathway here, and we have a cobbled platform going this way around. That has crumbled away in places. Difficult. So, yeah. We're just working with simple shapes. Nothing to stress about. Simple shapes. Very thick and one last stairway there. Edge. Crumbling. Falling away. But we're just working with the edge for now. Lost. Where did I put my lid? Anyone see a lid? Hold on. Found it. Okay, and then we have the edge about thick. Pencil this in first. I'm working with this blue so that I can easily remove it with a filter in Photoshop. And I wonder if we'll do something fun up here. I didn't work out what we're going to put up here. Maybe just a road disappearing off the edge of the map, or like a little staging area kind of platform, maybe a ceremonial area. That was probably very loud, sorry. But now, okay, what? Grassy top edge here and up there. Rocks and stuff. Edge. If we have to decide, I'll put a the hard edge here. Plans of turning this into a cobbled area. Stairs are also like a distance. They're not precise masonry. Either because the earth's shifting or falling apart, or whoever built this wasn't using his tools. Just the style. So for are kind of, yeah, we'll commit to this shape. Shorten it just a little bit. Okay. Turning back upon shape is drawing the line twice, imprecisely, gives a 3D look. Tidy the edge up, add, there. Do is bolden up the top stairs. Them descending. From your bird's eye view. Then, final step for the stairs is to kind of break it up places. I like my stairs haphazard, and I guess it's rather dangerous to have varying step widths. Not paying enough attention, you're going to. Okay, but there's our little, not a well, stairway. Out onto this platform where shape of a beetle. Do like an alt body. I feel like whatever I'm going to do with this beetle be just a bit detailed for like the overall detail level of the, throw a bit of rubble. They're breaking up the large areas. Edge where this platform connects side also have a curb patterned edge. Pencil that in there. Yeah, I like these. Getting good. Of course, there's no like safety rail. Safety rails in Dungeons and Dragons. The whole point is to throw someone over the edge. Beetle or not. Just a little area. Get away with an. You know what? I'm gonna go with the beetle, and if I don't like it later, then I can Photoshop it out. Face, abdomen. abdomen for tiles. Give it like so. That kind of looks like a beetle, right? Does it? From up there? Looks like something. It's obviously not our generic cobblestone texture, right? Also, because I'm scared of putting pen to paper straight away, I'm drafting. Those we want. Facing. Okay. Let's go. Pyronite, when I use traps, do I telegraph them on the maps, or are they something I do with tokens? Yeah, it's something I do with tokens, because all the maps I draw, I want to give the DMs an option to use maps, but not the obligation traps. Interrupted by strain of drawing tiles. So yeah, sometimes I'll put like a little blood smear or something as the opportune place to put a trap, but I don't telegraph anything too clearly. Some of these things would lend themselves to a trap, right? Like a beetle, perhaps, would be a nice place for a trap. And you could choose one of these tiles as a pressure plate. Put a smattering of cobblestone in, but in such a way that we don't lose the shape. And in fact, I might have to bring the beetle back out. Distinct coloring. A little bit obscure right now, but maybe a little bit obscured is what you want. Maybe use a hint to a greater puzzle. Here, circular pedestal. Going for the central iris, frog face. I never finished the whole paving over here. My head in frame. Hope not. If it is, it's the webcam. It look dirty. It's really not that. Little, yeah, pretty much done. We could throw in some crack lines there. Yeah, the platform's breaking. Dark lines following bubble. That. Hey Gallows Adler. When I start drawing a map, I pretty much, as I'm drawing it, I come up with a cool idea, and as I'm drawing it, sometimes I come up with cool ideas as to why that place exists. But mostly I just leave it up to the whoever chooses to download this map and use it, come up with something fun. Or what I've been doing recently is handballing it off to my brother Troy, who's much better at writing than I am. He'll come up with something cool. Or now that I have a Twitch chat to bounce ideas off, perhaps we can come up with something cool together. Like my mind yesterday, as I was draft, went to Atoa, which is like frog people edition, and probably before that, just because of the frog face over here. That's their deity or their king, or just face of a priest or something. This is their official entrance to the Underdark. Maybe that's where they do their sacrifices or something. Maybe that's why players are here in the first place, to save someone who's up and sacrifice. Mine went to Driders. I'm not actually sure what a Drider is. You had to explain for me. I'm relatively new to D&D myself. I've been playing for 2015, but compared to like some, I'm just a young boy. Be a good place for a crack. Oh, are they just dark elves? Those Driders? Edge, our platform is just a tad boring. Up width, oops. And the platform, of course, continues over on this side. Let's block in. Yeah, I've kind of warmed up now. Seem to be able to make an interesting shape on the first try. Let's try and keep that momentum. Scaled edges here. Stairway. Trying to say stairwell and then changing my mind. Stairway here. The thick end should be ending. All mixed up, but that's all right. Cross, correct. This part of the platform slated as resting place of the coffin. That way. Here we have a large boulder from the landslide. Continue. The idea was that acrobatic characters would be put into going this way, while the strong athletic characters would put into the way around. And then the caster characters would just cast fly straight across. Or anything like my party have multiple forms of flight. Lots rubble that's fallen here. Then of course we have a major piece of rubble. I'm going to try and make it to a decent shape. E-shape. All goes well. Yeah, I quite like that. A big, thick edge. I want just a cartoonish circle boulder. We want a rock-looking thing. Excuse me. It's a rock thing. And this one will have to. One will have to. In order to progress. Oh, the half drow, half spider. Yeah. I knew the picture. I knew the imagery. Did not know the name. That every time I look at my laptop screen, you get this creepy webcam image of me with the harsh light. Sorry about that. It kind of startles me every time I look at myself. Okay, here's the big bad boulder laying in the way. I suppose this platform a little ways up here. Well, let's just finish platforms with cobblestones, cobbling. Stairs. Rubble. So we've got the main bits in now. Just kind of the play area. And this way around or this way around. Good. So to block in areas. Darken up sloping grass. More dense. Like a hop over here, jump, 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 jump. Over there, and then balance beam across the route. Get there. This way it's going to be a big jump, big push, jump. Lots of opportunity for death, right? The idea is you're going to rush your players across here with some kind of enemy presence, so they can't just take their time with grappling hooks and such. Although, you know, that's perfectly fun as well. You just let them take their time and puzzle through it. Or you can throw, imagining the Dark Elves from God of War. In fact, this whole place kind of reminds me of that area, Alfheim. Yeah, some kind of flying that can hassle them from any side, or just like archers waiting over here, that sort of thing. Okay, so this grass, this whole area here can be grass. On this side, it's breaking apart and falling down. This side, to a lesser extent. So, and then we can put a couple of trees in the border. I think that will cut it. Don't want to get too messy, too detailed. since the focus of the map is this area, not this area. This is just a useful place to drop your players in, let them make the first move. I always feel bad when I take the battle map out and put the player tokens down and they're like, why are we so far forward? Put us back. That's why I like having these little areas of safety first. Right. Okay. Okay. Tell me, besides stealing Dark Elves from God of War, what would be some suitable enemies to throw at your players on this map? The playables. Okay, the other idea was this isn't just going to be one of myself. It's just going to be grass. We're going to have little area of cobblestone. Just a little area. And in fact, I wish I had the grid handy at this point so that I could follow the grid. But other option we have is loosely follow the grid. Or if we use kind of circular shapes, we have an excuse not to follow the grid. It's cave-in. Yeah, that's an excellent one. If it's the Underdark and your setting allows it, probably Skaven here, right? This edge platform's fallen away too. That. Maybe I'll align this with the corner of a grid and then that's kind of enough space for your characters camp or whatnot. Flaps down. Okay, I can work with that. So outside of this grass is half and half grassy edge and straight edge, depending on whether the grass has grown over the pavement or not. Another nice little thing we can do is put patches of grass and moss growing over, and roots, stuff like that, like one over here. Yeah, like there, overgrowth. Let's put in a little clump of grass here, which is growing through the paving. Start with grass so we can get thing shapes in. Color happens. After that, we will add the paving. Using my patented scribble, grass clumps. Hey Stachify, welcome back. I think you're the most regular viewer I have right now. Have ya? Whiling away at this thing that we started yesterday. Right now we're adding grass clumps to a stony cobbled platform. And in fact, I'm gonna take a break from those, lock in edge that's collapsed. To grass. Side. Or brook, yeah, like a little. Hey, I like that idea, Frank. Thanks. So, Frank B, in case you're not on YouTube right now, can't see his comment, suggested we put a little stream or brook coming through here. That gives us the opportunity for a nice waterfall heading down into here. And in fact, we might be able to do the same thing in another place, perhaps through here or here, and that'll give us a great excuse to put kind of vapor, like misty stuff down here, rather than black pit of boringness. I quite like that. And then 3 is a good number for waterfalls, so 3. All of this vapor stuff will happen on the color layer, so we need only draw in the water. Yeah, I like that idea. Thanks. This is why I stream on Twitch. That people who aren't so distracted with drawing lines, interesting decisions for me. Don't go crazy with the grass. We haven't had any of it. Yeah. Statuify. I decided just on a vague insect shape. It's kind of like a beetle or a honey ant. It's in there somewhere, and I'll have to help it pop out later with color, but it is in there. Edge goes pencil higher up now. If we have a slightly thicker edge, that will help suggest elevation. Of course, Howard today, so let's our tile. Just most of them. Just the edge one. Sorry if dropping my pen like that is probably. Tiles here are a bit bigger. Combining for some of them I want to combine, just have that element of not every detail being drawn in. Here and then call it a day. Perhaps we can break one. Break. Fallen away, so we'll put the tile, it's fallen here. That. Interesting to know, Frank B. Maybe the tube is a bit behind, or why that would be. I think that there is a separate latency setting on YouTube. Why? At what point did you suggest the stream? Was that like way back? Not the stream. Brook. Used with this style of video. Throw in some cobble. Help it collapse away. Cobble. It's only my second time using it. restream and stream to YouTube and Twitch at the same time, so probably more than one thing wrong with this, but at least it's working. We're making some progress. How long have we been streaming for? It's been an hour and a half, so we're probably a little past halfway because there's a lot of detail yet to fill in, but it's kind of natural detail, not like high detailed platforms and precise things, which you get to do, faster to do, probably harder to do. There's a method you can stick to for platforms that works well every time, but for natural shapes, about a minute behind. Okay. I'll have a look into that. Just a big overgrown area. Having the grass growing over it all will help break up the colors, like having huge areas of cobblestone fills the map with grey. I'm coloring time. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Must be go crazy, right? And even in the textures, cobblestone, I want to add interesting, like little rivers of texture. Here has some shape to it, rather than just evenly spacing it around. And then if there's too much white space in it, put a single brick. That even less, we'll just put very little dots. Continue this little river of cobblestone, getting some nice variation, shapes, size of the shapes. I accidentally draw one too big. Yeah, maybe. Then you put a line in through the middle, break it into two pieces. Try and make it look like I'm not avoiding the edge of the canvas. But usually this edge will get cropped out when brought into Photoshop. I don't have to go right up to the very edge. Working along, getting there. Probably around the same time tomorrow, I'll be coloring this in stream back at the main computer. It's bulky CPU and GPU that can handle better than this little laptop. Well, and we'll be well along the way to actually publishing something this month, because all of them and yet to post anything to Patreon. At the edge, we just want to break it up with dark areas of, break it into a couple layers. I like it the way it is. Bad where I want it to get away with actually scribbling. It looks like it's disappearing over a little area here where chunk has kind of not been broken to pieces that landed. But otherwise that's going to grass. Stick with that brush. Fill in some grassy islands, collapsing surface. I got this one falling away, but this one's no sense. What I can do about that? I guess it can be. I guess it can be on the same layer. Maybe I'll digitally join these up. I think I'll do that. I'll join these up later. I'll put a marker here. It'll remind me later to fix it up. Then our stream, let's figure that out. Actually, first, let's detail here. Now let's jump onto this brook. Breaking the grass. Now, the other thing we want to mix in is some trees around the edge, perhaps, like we have on these edges. We bring those back. Equation. Maybe here, that would be a good place for a tree, and just right here on the corner. Yeah, not like distinct tree shapes, but a general canopy. So start with those since they're a bit. Draw some leafy clouds. And our brook is going to come out from underneath that big tree. Looking for time. Probably got another half hour in me before I need to stop for dinner. Let's wrap this map up. We're pretty much almost finished. We just have to get these last lines in, but they're going to be very sparingly added. Don't want to flood this thing with detail and confuse everything. So we're going to be very, very controlled with our elevation lines on this. Well, that's the plan anyway, but see if I can stick that plan. Okay, I almost forgot about our brook plan here, where it's gonna go down. Much the brook has cut a little line out of our grass, cut a little path, the foliage. It's not strictly grass. This stuff, it's kind of like underbrush. I should probably mix in some shapes, like little bushy shapes. And also, for the purpose of a battle map, it's good to keep surfaces kind of clear and open. To keep it just grassy, if I were to put bushes in, then your players would wonder if they can pass through that. without it being difficult terrain. That's how my players tend to think anyway. I like to keep traversable areas very clearly traversable. Not so good at this talking drawing. Just kind of fall away. It's going to really help with our perspective. A+ idea, Frank B. Thank you. Water, which will look like water, and we make it blue or brown. We'll see what kind of watery color. And it's going to fall with a mixture of froth, falling streams, down into kind of more into froth as a froth or vapor. I'm still learning how to draw water, but this looks, and a lot of the detail on water line, not the line, color layer. Now we've got enough. Just that this is rocky stuff. Put some additional grass here. Not going overboard. And we had two other brooks we wanted, so let's put one here. Down in nothing. Put some kind of variety of texture in color, like some foggy clouds coming out from our brooks. But I have to be very sparing with the get way too detailed. This brook is probably making these thick and extremely dangerous. Ready for the stressful step of adding in these elevation lines. Much going to follow what I have here on the draft. I like the shapes that we have, just like rings and rings, rock and mud, earth, like layers and layers down. So I have to be very mindful of the excuse me, of the line thickness I'm using. Don't put a big thick line down here, and that'll confuse the perspective. As it comes up, the lines are going to get thicker. Oh, sad. This end of my brush is kind of running out of ink. And of course, more space the higher up it is, and close together as down. Close together and fold. Break it up in places with these dashes and rocky texture. Just staring. And if it looks good in your kind of thumbnail view, accomplished. Much of the detail will come as I keep on repeating myself. This one's got a very light application of course. We have a bit of a divot where our boulders fire alarm. That look on our thumb. Good. Yeah, I like the distinct circular look. That's kind of what makes it look like a sinkhole. Going for. And we're not going overboard with detail, which is important. I'm running the risk of smudging things a little bit. More careful with my arm here. Of course, we just position from thick lines, widely spaced, thin lines, more closely spaced. Gives us the illusion of depth. I like the look here. Really steep hole, isn't it? Fine, we've put this brook in a nice place because we can fill this kind of area with a lighter color, which will help these roots stand out. Since they're a very important part of the function of the battle map, exactly what we want. If we didn't have the mist, we could have more line using edges. If I just need to stand up and a couple paces away. So all of our areas of detail, areas of rest are all there, present, gently placed. Now, the whole area, terrain is collapsing. Rather chaotic. Good. We're not going to have these rings, we're going to have jumbled earth. Fill in basically a bunch of areas of light and shadow. I'll play with Now transition into our pattern. As this is out. Twist this whole thing around. Sorry for the confusing transition. I want to be a bit closer to what I'm working at. Gives you a fresh perspective. I like when I switch the perspective up and it still looks good. I know I'm badly. But a mental note, I need to order a new pen nearing its retirement. It won't be obvious from your point of view, but lines have crease through them. Yeah, you know how a pen looks running out of ink. That's what it looks like. I have a little patch of grass right here. Jumble this up. You can see that it's getting obvious as we go. Messy. A little bit more messy. Another addition from lots of mess into no mess rather than looking a little bit flat before. Since we have so many roots here, we should probably mix in roots elsewhere. Let's not go overboard with details, but since we're using roots here, it makes the area of root. Anyway, I was working over here before. Let's get back here momentarily. Some big rocky shapes, like this shape. Rock. Work with that, and then we'll transition into mud. And just hang on until this map's done, please. Smarter, I'd order a bunch of these pens and then one out, I'd have another one away. Look. Yeah. The other side effect of having a camera pointed at my artwork makes me feel like I'm doing a tutorial. Hurry things. I kind of pump the brakes. Looking at the thumbnail, yeah, it looks pretty good. Now there's going to be a whole bunch more form added to it when I add the shadow in the color. Like one edge of this will be bathed in shadow and the other one well lit. It's going to be more detailed then, but hopefully not too detailed. Just got some detail left. Looking for opportune shapes here. I can rocks, sink rocks. Big, almost rocky shapes. But if we can put in some clearly rocky shapes amidst them, it helps them all look like rocky shapes. And the roots, we were adding roots. Let's get back to the roots. Sparingly. Root down. This edge, I guess, more trees on this side. This will have the bulk of the root. Roots are going to add a lot of work when it's coloring. Coming off bracken. Patterns. Quite enough here. Stand up. Up and look. Got a lot of detail here. Here and cobblestone. Leaves this looking a bit barren. Add in a small detail in the earth. Maybe a little bit here, and that'll create like a shape now here, which will balance out this side a bit. Oh, just hold yourself together, my brush. So sorry. I should check on Twitch chat. How much action I have. This stream took by far the most effort. By far has least viewers. So it's kind of the poetic. At least these shapes are very easy. Very natural. I think it's my fault for streaming so late in the day. Get out kind of method here and create depth elsewhere. Break these into smaller chunks. But we're getting there. One in half. There. Chop that up. Some shape here. Now we're away from high amount of detail into a low amount of detail. What we want. That test. But otherwise we're done. Need just a bit of hatching these trees. The trees too, won't they? Don't forget. Okay, might be going overboard, so let's quit very soon. And in fact, since I'm only going to color this tomorrow, I'll probably let it rest for a while. Then when I come back tomorrow and I look at it for the first time in the day, I'll immediately see what needs. Such as these stairs look a little bit thick. Like a little oversized. I almost need to chop them in half, don't I? But maybe this is like a large race that dwells here. One more stand-up test. A bit more depth. Suggestion of depth here. This little bit here, where I was trying to grassy island play. Let's get rid of that since it doesn't make sense anymore with kind of steep happening. Yeah, Frank, it's almost 8 p.m. here, so must be on the other side of the world, huh? And it will be on Patreon very soon. Tomorrow, I hope to paint and publish it all in the one day. Touch wood. So we'll see. But at this point, I'd like to thank you all for joining me as I drew this map for my first Let's Draw stream ever. Went mostly without a hitch. And it was a fun 2 hours almost precisely. So I recommend anyone who watches the replay later to watch this at 10 times speed. Probably be quite fun to watch it just materialize. That's done. That's a pretty battle map. I'm quite pleased with this. Looking forward to blocking in the colors. So I hope you'll join me at some unscheduled time tomorrow. Do that. I'm off to have dinner. Thanks everyone, and good night / good morning / bye bye.